Success is not an accident. The difference between people who produce positive results and those who do not is not some sort of random roll of the dice. There are consistent, logical patterns of action, specific pathways to excellence that are within the reach of us all. We can unleash the magic within us. We simply must learn how to turn on and use our minds and bodies in the most powerful and advantageous ways. Have you ever wondered what a Steven Spielberg or a Bruce Springsteen might have in common? What do a John F. Kennedy and a Martin Luther King Jr. share that caused them to affect so many people in such a deep and emotional way? They have been able to get themselves to consistently take effective actions toward the accomplishment of their dreams. But what is it that got them to continue day after day to put everything they've got into everything they do? There are, of course, many factors. However, I believe there are fundamental character traits that they have cultivated within themselves. Characteristics that give them the fire to do whatever it takes to succeed. These are the traits that can ensure your success as well. Trait number 1, passion. All of these people have discovered a reason, a consuming, energizing, almost obsessive purpose that drives them to do, to grow, and to be more. It gives them the fuel that powers their success and causes them to tap their true potential. It's passion that drives the computer scientists through years of dedication to create the kind of breakthroughs that have put men and women in outer space and brought them back. It's passion that causes people to stay up late and get up early. It's passion that people want in their relationships. Passion gives power and meaning. There is no greatness without a passion to be great, whether it's the aspiration of an athlete or an artist, a scientist, a student, a parent, or a business person. Discover how to unleash this inner force of passion within yourself. When a seed is watered in our subconscious, it manifests as an energy in our conscious and becomes a mental formation or an emotion or a thought. You have a seed of anger, but when the seed of anger is asleep, it is dormant in your subconscious, and you don't feel angry. However, when the seed is touched, when it is turned on, when it is watered, it becomes a conscious emotion, a conscious mental formation called anger, and you feel the energy of anger arise. We can envision consciousness as a living room and subconsciousness as a basement. If we water a seed of joy and happiness, that seed will grow and manifest itself on the upper level of consciousness, making the living room beautiful, making our mind beautiful, making our thoughts and our feelings beautiful. If we water the seed of anger or hatred, it will make the living room of our mind a hell for us and a hell for our loved ones. We all have a seed of anger, a seed of despair, a seed of jealousy in us. If you live in a negative environment, the environment can trigger these seeds. If you live in a positive environment, then the seeds of craving, violence, hate, and anger are not touched, not watered easily. So, it is wise for you to choose a good environment. An environment that will prevent these negative seeds from being touched or watered often. You should not allow other people around you to touch or water these seeds. And you should not allow yourself to water them. When you read an article full of violence, or watch a violent television program or movie, you turn on the seed of violence. So the first step is diligence. You need the diligence and discipline to control your environment. You need the diligence not to turn on these negative seeds and not to allow the environment to turn them on. Diligence means the practice of selective watering. So if the negative seeds in the subconscious have not grown, keep them down there. Don't let them get watered. In your daily life, be careful not to give these negative seeds a chance to grow. Don't suppress them, just don't give them a chance. In your community, in your family, expose yourself only to sounds and sights that will help you touch the wholesome seeds within you. Try not to expose yourself to sights and sounds that stimulate the seeds of craving or anger. You need diligence to practice this. And you may need a community or a group of friends with similar values to help you create a good environment. You can encourage your partner, your children, and your friends to help you protect yourself from negative environments. You can also protect them by creating an environment where they don't have to be in touch with negative thoughts, ideas, and therefore don't have to touch their negative seeds. Taoism is a philosophy, not really a religion, I don't think. Maybe it is, I don't know. But in my opinion, it's really more of a philosophy. It's a way of living. It's a philosophy about life. It's a very natural philosophy. The basic idea of Taoism is that you should live in harmony with nature. You should follow nature, be part of nature. And if you live with nature instead of fighting it, your life will be much more successful and happy and easy. This idea that we don't fight against things. We go with them. We do what is natural. So this is the idea. You're not fighting against something with effort, trying. You're doing what is most natural. When you do what is most natural, it's easier and it's more successful. Wow, two great things at the same time. Now, if you want to find an intelligent solution to a problem, your brain can do the work. You have all the necessary intelligence inside of your skull. However, most people never use their brains. They use their conscious minds instead. And they use their conscious minds the same way they use their muscles. You can strain your head just as if it were a muscle. You can work very hard trying to find a solution. But it doesn't really work well that way. When you really want to find an answer to something, what you need to do is contemplate the problem calmly. Visualize your question and then simply wait. If you don't do this, if instead you try to find the solution through brute mental strength, you may be disappointed, because any solution that comes in that way is likely to be wrong. But when you have waited for a while, the solution will come by itself, automatically. That is how to use your brain, and it will work for you in the same way that your stomach will digest your food for you, without you having to supervise it consciously. Our attempts to supervise everything consciously have led to consequences that are not good for our stomach, and the reason is quite simple. Conscious attention, which uses and employs words, cannot think of very much. Therefore, we are forced to ignore almost everything else while we are thinking consciously. We think along a single track, but the real world doesn't proceed along a single track. The real world is everything happening all together, everywhere, at the same time. And you just can't take all of that into consideration because there isn't time. However, your brain, your subconscious brain, can take it all into consideration because it is capable of handling innumerable variables at once, even though your conscious attention cannot. Words are not capable of handling any more than a single, very crude and simple track. And that is why we have to trust our brains. We are much more intelligent than we realize. Leaders make mistakes, and they make no bones about it. On the wall of my writing studio in Vermont hangs a quotation by David Keller. Fail faster, succeed sooner. Next to that quote hangs another by Diane Arbus, who told her students, "Learn not to be careful." In placid times, leaders may think they have all the answers. In turbulent times, leaders must have the best questions. Questions that encourage others to undertake voyages of mutual discovery. And the essence of that process is letting people screw up. If you try new stuff, you screw up. If you try a lot of new stuff, you screw up a lot. In fact, the best leaders make big mistakes. Mistakes are not enough. Big mistakes are mandatory. My all-time favorite PowerPoint slide is this: reward excellent failures, punish mediocre successes. These tumultuous times beg for bold initiatives. While thoughtless recklessness is not to be applauded, the word reckless must be examined carefully. Most people who change the world, Martin Luther King, Galileo, Picasso, they were indeed reckless, but not thoughtless. The Martin Luther Kings of the world, the Galileos, the Picassos, the Churchills, the de Gaulles, they attempted to create an entirely new world against long odds. If that ain't reckless, I don't know what the word means. Okay, that's the end of this section. Passionate language from Tom Peters, as always. What's he saying? Well, quite simply, he's saying that you have to try new things. You have to take risks in your life and business. And when you take risks, you will make mistakes. You will fail. Failure is mandatory. Mandatory means required. It means you must do it. You must make big mistakes. Because without big mistakes, you will never have big successes. He's saying that the essence of succeeding is failing. The people who succeed the most, people who become the richest or the companies that do the best, doesn't matter what area of life, they're usually the people who have the biggest mistakes because they're always trying new stuff. They're always trying to do something much, much better, much bigger, much more interesting. And many times they fail. Many times they make mistakes. But they don't stop. They don't cry, I made a mistake, I failed. They learn from it. They look at the mistake, they learn, and then they try something else even better. And they keep doing that process again and again. They try something great, they fail, they learn, they think about it, then they try something else great. It never ends. Tom Peters says that is the process for huge success. That is the process that all leaders must follow. Leaders must make mistakes, and leaders must encourage their people, their team, to make mistakes also. I love this because it's absolutely true. It's what I follow in my own business. I've made so many mistakes when I started Effortless English, when I started the company. We started as a small membership site. But then that didn't work. It was a failure. It was a big failure. So we quit, and then we tried something else. We started recording the lessons and selling the lessons as a bundle, as a group. And then that worked, but our first website was really ugly. And so then eventually we improved the website. And then our lessons. When I first made my original lessons, the sound quality was not too good. I didn't have any money, so I had to record them in my apartment. But now we're in a recording studio, and these have much better, higher quality sound. It's a never-ending process. As long as you try something new, as long as you try to be different, you're always going to make a mistake. Unfortunately, in school, people are taught to be afraid of mistakes. What happens in school if you make a mistake? You get a big red X. You fail your test. You fail on your paper. You get a bad grade. You get criticized by the teacher. You get in trouble with your parents. All of school is focused on teaching you to avoid mistakes. As you grew up going to school year after year, you were taught again and again, don't make mistakes, don't make mistakes, don't make mistakes. Don't try something new. Don't be different. School taught you to fail in life. They taught you not to fail on tests. They taught you not to fail at small things. But that belief will cause you to fail in your life. It means you'll never improve very much. You'll never be special. You'll never do anything great if you're afraid to make mistakes. If you want to have a great life, you absolutely must make mistakes. If you make big mistakes, you'll have a great, big, fantastic life. If you try to live your dream, you will be successful. You'll be surprised that if you really are confident and strong, you say, I will do this. Whatever your dream is, whatever your big goal is, if you just start working towards it and trying to get it, that you'll be surprised at your success. You will succeed. It will be less difficult than you imagined. And then he talks about, new laws will open around this person. What he's saying is that the universe, or God, or the Tao, whatever your belief is, that it will help you. That, in fact, that the more confident you are, the more strongly you try to get your dreams, you will get help. Things will happen to help you. And, if you're religious, maybe you think God is going to help you. But, God's going to wait until you are confident, until you actually try to live your biggest dream. And if you do that and you keep trying and you're strong and you believe, then God will give you help. And if you're not religious, you don't believe in God, maybe it's, the Tao or the force of the universe, or, maybe it's your unconscious mind that's going to give you that help. Whatever it is, some force or forces will help you. You won't be alone. That's what he's saying. So he's basically saying to have faith, believe in your dream, try to get your dream, and if you do it, you're going to succeed. It's going to be easier. Things will happen to help you. The more you simplify your life, the easier life becomes. That's what that means. In proportion as you simplify your life, the laws of the universe will appear less complex. What that means is, the more you make your life simple, the easier your life becomes. Everything becomes easier. It's easier to succeed. It's easier to do everything. You have less stress in your life. Everything becomes much, much easier the more your life is simplified. If you build castles in the air, to build castles in the air means to dream big, right? You're not building a house on the ground. You're building your house up in the air. You're dreaming a big dream. He's saying that is great. That's fantastic. You should dream very, very big. Don't have small dreams. Have really big dreams. He says, but the next step is you must do something. Don't just dream. Just dreaming is not enough. If you dream only, nothing will happen. He says you have to put the foundations under the castle, under the house. That means you have to take action. You have to take action. You have to dream a really big dream. That's the first step. But the second step, you have to take action. You actually have to work to get that dream. So he's saying, yes, dream big, but also take action. Kaizen is a Japanese word. Kaizen, as our Japanese students already know, means small improvements over time. It really means constant and never-ending improvement. But it has this idea of making little tiny improvements again and again and again and again for 1 week, for 1 month, for 1 year, forever. So Kaizen is kind of the opposite of innovation. Innovation means a sudden big change, a sudden big improvement. And that's a great way to learn and improve. For example, you could study English very intensely for 1 month or 2 months, and you would make a big, sudden improvement. That's the innovation idea. But there's another way you can improve, and that is the Kaizen way. And the Kaizen way means maybe you just listen to English or read English or study English. Maybe you just do it 20 minutes every day. And every day you improve just a little bit. But the key, the secret is you do it every single day. Every day you make one little improvement. Well, after 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, you will make a huge change just by making little tiny improvements over time. That's the idea of Kaizen. You want to do something creative. Write a story or a song. Paint a picture. Dream up your perfect career. Learn something or come up with a zinger of a solution to an office problem. But you have no idea where to start. Your mind keeps coming up empty. During times like these, Kaizen can help you summon your powers of inspiration. Although you can't force your brain to cough up creative ideas on demand, you can program it to launch the imaginative process simply by asking yourself a small question. Here are some of the most popular small questions my clients use for creativity. Feel free to come up with your own. Whatever question you use, your challenge is to ask it with a gentle and patient spirit. When you use harsh or urgent tones with yourself, fear will clog the creative process. So here are some questions you can ask yourself. Number 1, what's one thing I wish to contribute to the world with my project or idea? Number 2, whom could I ask for help or inspiration? Number 3, what is special about my creative process, about my talents, about my team? Number 4, what type of work would excite and fulfill me? Number 5, what small, tiny change could I make now, today, to improve? Remember, if you repeat the question for several days or weeks, or however long it takes, the hippocampus, which is the part of the brain that stores information, will have no choice but to address it. And in its own way, on its own timetable, the brain will begin giving you answers. What do you want? Well, first let's ask a better question. Most people will never know what they want. I don't know what I want. If you ask me what I want to do in the next 5 months for language learning, on the other hand, I do know. It's a matter of specificity. What do you want is too imprecise to produce a meaningful and actionable answer. Forget about it. What are your goals is similarly fated for confusion and guesswork. To rephrase the question, we need to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Let's assume we have 10 goals and we achieve them. What is the desired outcome that makes all the effort worthwhile? The most common response is what I also would have suggested 5 years ago: happiness. I no longer believe this is a good answer. I no longer believe that happiness is the reason we achieve goals. Happiness can be bought with a bottle of wine. And the idea of happiness has become ambiguous through overuse. There is a more precise alternative that reflects what I believe is the actual objective for achieving goals. Bear with me. What is the opposite of happiness? Sadness? No. Just as love and hate are two sides of the same coin, so are happiness and sadness. Crying out of happiness is a perfect illustration of this idea. So, for example, the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is indifference. And the opposite of happiness is boredom. Excitement is the more practical synonym of happiness. And it is precisely what you should strive to chase. It's the cure-all. When people suggest that you follow your passion or that you follow your bliss, I believe they are, in fact, referring to the same idea. excitement. This brings us full circle. It brings us back to the beginning, to our beginning question. The question you should be asking isn't, what do I want? It's not, what are my goals? The question you should be asking yourself all the time is, what would excite me? Happiness can be found right now very easily. You don't need to achieve a goal to be happy. You don't need to speak perfect English to be happy. You don't need a lot of money to be happy. You don't need to do anything. You can just smile, make your physiology strong, and be grateful for everything you have now. Be aware, be grateful of everything you have now in your life. Your family, your friends, all the people you love and who love you. All the great opportunities you have in your life. Your health. All of us have so many great things in our life. Happiness is really just a choice, an emotional choice. You choose to be happy. You can make yourself happy right now, in any situation. So we don't need to have goals to be happy. We don't need to achieve things and get success to be happy. But if we want passion, if we want excitement, well, that's where goals come in. Goals make us grow. They push us to become more, to try new things, to become bigger and better people, to live amazing lives. That's why we have goals. Because as many people have said, you're either growing or you're dying. So we can be happy anytime, anywhere. But if we really want to be passionate, we really want to feel powerful, positive emotions and feel this incredible energy, well, we need to grow. We need to feel excited about our lives. Not just happy, excited. That's the reason to have goals. So when you're choosing your goals, and this is the most important point from this section, when you're choosing your goals, don't choose small goals. Don't choose boring goals. Boring goals are useless. Why have a goal if it's boring? Just stay the same. The only reason to choose a goal and to try to achieve a goal is if it excites you. It will give you energy and passion and excitement. Trying to get it and actually getting it. You should feel excited about both. That is the purpose of goals. They provide energy. They provide excitement. So when you choose goals, you absolutely must choose exciting goals. When you write that goal down, you should feel excited immediately. If you don't, it's a bad goal. Throw it away and make a new one. All of your goals, your health goals, your money goals, your job and work goals, your relationship goals, your language learning goals, they should all be super exciting to you.